Gather around, folks. Let me tell you a tale about politicians and their promises that always seem to fail.
How dare you?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Top of the time zone. I'm Alan C. You're with Johnnie J in the house, here on the Innervision FM universe. You're not going to want to miss today's podcast. Brought to you by Colorado Art Relief Fund, Eeny Meeny Grants, Bonefields Foundation, Chinook Foundation, Christian Brothers Moving Company, based in the great state of Texas, Englewood, Colorado, and Phoenix, Arizona. Also, Richard Damiano of the Littleton Eye Clinic. Stay with us.
Oh my God.
That's who we love, and that's who we serve.
It's running out? Yeah. Hi, everybody. This is the Godfather of Soul, James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather of Soul, James Brown, saying stay with it and hit it. Okay, thank you very much.
How dare you?
Yeah. All right.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we made it through another week. It's our Friday. It's your Wednesday. Unless you're in the Philippines, it's just after 7 a.m. Thursday morning.
And Hey Joe is still having problems with his internet connection because in some places internet can't always be reliable.
Well, that's okay. My internet connection says it's unstable, and I can't get to the window to figure out why it's unstable. So, in case I go bye-bye, that'll be why.
Yeah. And as you can see down there, we have the topics, and we're here 11 minutes after the hour, like 7:11. We're here.
5:11.
Yeah, 5:11.
It's 5 p.m., 5:11 p.m. Mountain Standard Time in the Innervision FM universe, and we're brought to you by the sponsors we listed. And also, if you promise to stay till the end of the show, we'll promise to fulfill your sweet tooth wishes.
Oh yeah, definitely. And also, well, as you've seen, like okay, with the other House leader, we had several votes, and there was some backdoor negotiation. And I hope if he says, okay, I'll support more money to Ukraine, but we need to put some limitations on it, saying we want to know where this money is going to, because I've heard there's been some reporting of like partying happening and dancing and people getting new cars and stuff like that. And so we need accountants on our side and accountants on their side. And I would suggest, if you want us to go forward with this, we got to do some back accounting before we release any more money to that country.
I think the main thing is we appear to have gotten away from what is good for the country as a whole on both sides of the aisle. I think that the best way to put this is that there are appropriators in both sides of the governing process, whether you're a Republican or Democrat. There are individuals that are willing to go ahead and just spend money and keep that deficit growing instead of, putting controls on things and putting things in place. Man, I'll tell you, if I were $36 trillion in debt, I would be in jail. If I couldn't balance a budget, and I placed things in my budget and didn't account for certain things and didn't hold certain records up for scrutiny, I'd be in jail. I'd be under the jail. They would build a parking lot over the jail after they've, raised it to the ground, and then they would pave that parking lot over. And I'd be, I don't think I'd be coming out for a while.
And get this one. They have a bill right there that they want to do. They want to compact Israel, which only asked for like $10 billion, which is crazy. And then, but they have $90 billion that they could allocate. But so what does that mean? So Israel gets 10 billion, and then these other the other ones get this much,
Yeah,
and
they're
then what
80
is it? Yeah, what does the other one go? So I would say, hey, cut that down. Okay, they only asked for 10 billion. We have already given this other bandito so many. Maybe we'll cut him down to like maybe 2 billion, and with those restraints on it, and go back and do some accounting on the books. And if we find out that this money went towards party time, like you would do in a regular grant, you take the money back.
That's right. That's right. You know, it's interesting, Johnny, because I've heard that they want to try to put everything into one bill that covers the Ukraine as well as Israel as well as whatever else they got going on.
Yeah.
I was listening to Janet Yellen, and somebody had asked her whether she figured we could fund both these wars at the same time, and she basically put us on the hook for both these wars. So somebody's going to get rich, and it's not the American people.
And also, this bandito Biden used this term that Bush used. I'm a wartime president.
Well, that's interesting. You know, it's also interesting is President Trump also used that term as well when the invisible enemy came on the scene back in 2020. So it's interesting.
How they can use these words, throwing them around, throwing around these abstract words, and does that make you more popular?
So Jim Jordan, he's running for Speaker of the House. He's lost his second vote today, I guess, and so he's losing some ground to this interim speaker. They want to try to make, gosh, I can't remember who the interim speaker's name is, but they want to make him Speaker pro tem.
Because like he's in the pockets of these other banditos that come in and bribe these guys, saying, hey, if you pass my bill, we'll brush your pocket with some money. So they want someone who's a part of the swamp to be there temporarily, just so they can get their money. But as an addict, once you got your fix, you always come back for more.
Well, the fix never fixes. The fix only breaks. And so you get the fix and you want more. I know it as an alcoholic. I know it as a marijuana user. I know that the fix always breaks. And no matter what you try to do, unless you put a handle on it and put a stop to it, you're always going to want more. And
I know it as a cinnamon bear, gummy bear. I mean, you just can't eat one gummy bear, cinnamon, especially if it's cinnamon gummy bear.
Yeah, I sure can.
Oh man, I've tried so many times.
Oh, really? That's
man.
Good.
So I said, no, just keep it out of the house. Just keep it out of the house.
Oh, no, none for me.
Oh man.
We all have our poison, ladies and gentlemen, and sometimes money breeds a lot of power, and power breeds a lot of, corruption. Corruption breeds a lot of sin, and sin always catches up to you. And whether there's accountability here, there is most assuredly going to be accountability in the hereafter. And so we got a few things to talk about tonight. Jesus Christ is the main sponsor of this show. It's who we have our movement and who we have our being in. And so we want to give all the glory and a big shout out to Jesus Christ, because what was it? 1 billion minutes ago, Jesus Christ walked the earth. 1 billion seconds ago, it was 1959. A billion hours ago, we weren't even walking on two legs, at least according to the evolutionary theory folks. Who knows? But 1 billion, whenever you look at things, you really don't know what a billion is until you start putting things into context. And so it's interesting. I mean, take a look at a billion, and the next time you think about a billion, start putting that in the increments of time and start figuring out what that means, because, until such time as we, you've heard the old adage that time is money. Well, what if money was time? There was a show called Just in Time, and I think it was made in 2010 or 2012. It was on Netflix, and it's a really good show where they actually had a premise where money was time, or I'm sorry, time was money. So if you had 900 years, that equated to the amount of time that you had on the planet. And so they would then dock those years or add years and things like this. And they had these time capsules that they would put the time in. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but check it out. It's a pretty weird premise. But towards the end, somebody broke into the wherever they were keeping the time and made it free for all. And eventually that's probably what's going to happen with money. We're going to have some sort of great reset of our own, and stop putting so much value into our money and putting more value on our time and making memories with our friends, our families, our acquaintances, the community. And that's what Johnnie J has tried to do. He started a podcasting and broadcasting school. So if you check us out on www.innervisionfm.com, www.innervisionrecords.org, why, you could take a look at what exactly is going on. We try to help podcasters, broadcasters, aspiring musicians who are physically disabled or financially challenged to get their stuff some exposure and to even show them how to get on the map. So that's what we aim to do. And, you can help. Krispy Kreme is partnered up with us, or we partnered with them, whichever. And so I don't want to spoil the promo, so stay till the end. You had something that you wanted to talk about with regard to ticket sales, a recording artist, things like that.
Yeah. And, we definitely can use help in this, and just, get as many boxes as you can and give them as gifts. Well, you don't have to use them now. You just have to buy them now, and then you could use them like in the future.
Yeah, so, they're definitely, there's no time limit on them. So, if you purchase these, they're a bit more than, your average donut, but 60, I think it's like 66% of the proceeds
60%
end up going to help fund this thing.
Yes.
We'll talk a little bit more about the promo later, but you were mentioning that ticket sales. There was a recording artist that you were.
Yeah. Well, I think it was around the fourth or the third, I think. This guy came and he says he's looking for looking for me, right? And I said, why? He said, I need to serve you some paper. And I said, serve me some paper for what reason? I said, well, I'm serving your company Innervision for garnishment of wages. And I'm thinking like, are they going to garnish me or what? And he says, oh, some guy named Don. And I didn't put all the stuff together because, most of rappers that I know, they have alias
Stage
names.
names.
Yeah,
They got
stage
stage names. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been going on forever, stage names. So you can come out of yourself and be that star. Okay. And so I said, it's not me. I'm not going to sign it. So he left. And so now it was a card on the door from the sheriff, right? So we called.
Good.
Right?
Oh,
we
good.
called and we said, oh, she asked, are you this person, not that? And I said, yeah. And the way they found it was I set up a QuickBook account with his name on it. So I was listed as one of his employees, right? And I was sort of upset with them, but I'd made the money back, but because when they were here and I had them produce 4 albums, when they moved out, they took the recorder, and I thought they were going to use it to record music. But they went and he, being the alcoholic and all this kind of stuff, he pawned the recorder.
Oh, don't tell me.
And I said, oh man, okay. So I said, okay, well, I'll just take it out of your royalties, right? And then I had him do a few concerts and stuff like that. Well, during this time, when you need quick money, he went to a cash loan place and said that he went to cash borrow $700 and something and change, whatever. So he got the money because they said, you're working for this company and all that kind of stuff. But he ended up not paying it back. So they wanted to come to me to say, if he makes any money through Innervision, we want you to take that money and send it to us.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah. So we want the employee to garnish the paycheck of this person. So, and I'm not sure if he's living with his mother still or what's going on. I have a feeling that he is living with his mom or dad or whatever. So should I be the good guy, or am I to be the good guy or the bad guy? Because this company gave him the money under the faith that he would pay it back. And instead, he probably went out partying with it or drinking or buying some friends some drinks or, whatever you do, when you have that, that drinking thing going on. So I don't know. What would you do? Would you, as an employee, what would you do? Would you make sure
I'd be the responsible guy? I would perhaps talk to this guy and say, hey, listen, I got a visit from the sheriff the other day, and I need your help. If you were to, phrase it in that way, hey, look, I need your help. Perhaps he might be willing to work with you, because the bottom line is, when you're in the music business and you're a producer, your first duty is to yourself. Your second duty is to your recording artists. Your third duty then is to your community that you guys are, that we are serving. And then, but above all these things, above all these first, second, and third duties, your ultimate duty is to God. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I would first pray about it.
And I thought about going to him and say, let's do some more concerts.
Right.
I need to raise $700 and some odd.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
That's an interesting, and then just go ahead and pay off his.
Which I think they said because of fees. Well, it really came up to $900 because of the attorney fees and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So probably I'd make it I'll need to raise $950. And I said, hey, I need your help to do this.
Yeah.
And go, maybe I have them sell some donuts.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There you go. That's a lot of boxes of Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
Let's see, $900 is 25. He'd have to sell. Oh, he'd have to sell 36 dozen, somewhere around there,
Okay.
just to break even plus, let's see, if you're 66%. Yeah, he'd have to sell probably, let's say if he sold 40 dozen, he might be okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
He could be
yeah.
your number one sales rep, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, hey,
Hey,
but
listen, I need your help, Don. Look, I need you to sell 40 dozen of these Krispy Kreme donuts because I'm in a bind because, well, let's just call a spade because
yeah,
you messed up and you went over here and you borrowed some money from
yeah.
Guido, and Guido's gonna proverbially, of course, break my legs if you don't take care of things.
Oh man, yes. So, yeah, do the right thing.
Do the right thing. I want to make you an
Yeah.
offer you can't refuse.
Right. Yeah. Oh, also, hey, we'll get into a little bit of this day in history.
Let's do that.
Let's go for the one that I forgot. The one about the water. The Water Clean Act was signed into law in 1972.
1972. I was born a year before.
So does that
And-
mean we didn't have clean water, or we had a question about our water before then?
Well, absolutely. There was a lot of stuff that went into that. There was lead in the water because of all the lead
In the
pipes.
pipes. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of where some of that came from. Also, there was a lot of corporations that were spewing their wastewater back into the rivers. That still is happening today, but they wanted to put regulations on how much could be dumped back into the river. So
Okay. Yes. That'll work. So also in 1867, President Johnson, who was president only because President Lincoln was assassinated, completed the transfer of Alaska to America.
well, that's interesting.
Yes.
There was also another President Johnson under John F. Kennedy. It is kind of fascinating.
Yeah, but what did he transfer? Well, I think he transferred us into the welfare state.
Yeah, I think so. I think OPEC got its start, not quite under Johnson, but Johnson was also instrumental in getting us to the moon. But it was Kennedy's vision. Yeah, it was his baby. He wanted to get us to the moon. And in 1969, we did finally make it. But so we got 1867 with President, was it President Johnson?
Yep. It was President Johnson at the time.
So, yeah, I mean, transfer from Alaska.
From Russia to America. I mean,
Right,
the
and-
final deed.
What's interesting is there's still native population over there. They're just called the Inuits, I think they are. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah. Now this next one is a very scolding, and it'll make you cringe if you thought about like how this must have felt.
Oh,
Okay. So say you're in the morning, you're taking your early morning bath, you're relaxing, muscle relaxing,
having a good time.
got the bubbles going on,
Right.
and you're not thinking about anything. You can smell the sweet smell of, well, it's really not a sweet smell, but some people like chitlins.
I love
So you,
chitlins.
so you smell the aroma of chitlins boiling in the other room, and you're thinking like, I'm gonna have maybe
breakfast.
I'm gonna have some chitlins for breakfast and stuff like that. And then you're sitting there, and maybe your eyes are closed.
Okay.
Next thing you know, this is 1974. On this date, the door opens, and you might open up your eyes and you're looking over and you see these
a pot
hot
of boiling chitlins coming at you.
coming at you. And so you try to duck down, thinking maybe you
Right.
can duck down far enough to get under the water,
Right.
and they hit you on the back.
Oof.
Right. And so you're doing stuff to try to cool yourself off. I mean, you may lean up
Oh boy.
back against the water, whatever.
Hmm.
Then you start thinking like, where is this fool who did this?
Right.
And then while you're thinking that, you hear, right? Let's see. Let me see if I can get the sound here.
Hey,
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, you hear that, and you're thinking like, what the hell? And so, you know that if you call the police, sometimes the police doesn't get there in time. So you have your own gun there. So just in case, if you need to stop a bandito from trying to rob you,
Right.
you know, you have the equalizer.
Wow.
When you find out that this woman, which was a girlfriend, and maybe you were trying to convince this girlfriend to go back to her family because she was married and she left her husband and left her children to be with you. You're saying, well, that's not right. Go back to your family. And maybe she decided, no, I'm not going to do that. I want to be with you. Forget my family, forget my husband. I want to be with you.
Wow.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this happened to Al Green, October 18th, 1974.
Isn't that the gospel singer? I guess he
Yeah.
converted himself to Christ with a quickness, I bet, huh?
Oh, I mean, he had became born again a year before. But
Oh, okay.
He was let's see, he was sort of like dragging his feet there, and he said, and then after that happened, he said, wait a minute, okay, God.
I get the message, Lord. I'm coming.
Yeah, I give up, you know. And so
Wow.
he's, you know, he made the switch like a lot faster. I mean, like I think about 7 top hits on the charts and stuff like that. And he said, hey,
Wow.
yeah, I got to go another direction, folks, you know. It just, you know how things can change your course, you know. And then he had to spend so many months in the burn unit.
Oh yeah.
Getting those burns taken care of too. So,
Oh man,
A
they didn't
lot
have
of
skin grafts. They didn't have a lot of the stuff they've got today that that they can use to heal you up.
yeah. And I met a lady that her mother or whatever was crazy, and she threw something hot in the back, and you could feel like all these like bumps on her back, like it was like a row of bumps.
Yep.
So it's very interesting. But then let's go to this next couple.
Okay.
Well, okay. So you're living in England, you're a songwriter and you're making good money, but you meet this other lady and she's more aggressive, and this other lady has decided that you're her man.
Oh no.
So as you're driving in your limousine, she jumps in the car and she sits between you and your then wife. And maybe your wife is a little bit timid, and she just says, well, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. And so this other lady takes over. And what if you guys say, hey, free love? This is like, everybody say free love, just because this was 1960, October 18th, 1968. And was this? No, yeah, it was.
Yeah, you're right. It's
Yeah,
68.
Yeah. And so the police are at your door.
Okay.
Let us in,
Okay.
and you're negotiating with them, and at the same time you're trying to hide hashy. Let's see, what else? Opioids.
Oh yeah, all kinds of crazy
You're
stuff.
kind of hide this stuff. And you say, we'll be right there. Hold on. And the lady that you're with now, she's pregnant. Neither one of you are divorced. And listen, right now that might be, seems like normal now, but in 1968, that was not normal.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So the cops decide that we're not going to wait. We're going to break in the door because you may be get rid of evidence.
Right.
Okay, so they bust in the door and seize the drugs, arrest the both, and the woman ends up having a miscarriage.
Oh no.
And so that's the first baby, but they ended up having another baby named Sean. And so of course I'm talking about Paul McCarthy and Yoko Ono.
John Lennon.
Did I say? Oh yeah, John Lennon. Oh, then this guy who was a detective, he was very zealous. He was looking for drugs everywhere, illegal drugs everywhere. And so they went to court, and he pled guilty, which he was guilty, you know.
Yeah,
and he said he only did it because he thought they would deport Yoko.
Right.
But you're guilty, so you know, we're guilty. And they went after Harrison for the same kind of stuff. So this guy was just on a rampage. He was just looking for rock stars in London to harass. Yeah, so yeah. I mean, they were serious as a heart attack back in those days about hashies and
they didn't play around.
Marijuana. Yeah, they were. I mean,
didn't play around.
I mean, if you watch that movie with Ray Charles, I think he was in this hotel and they busted, and like in the movie, they said, "You can't arrest me. What about my wife and my family?" I'm thinking like, you should have. Your wife was trying to tell you to stop doing, getting a taste, and you said you're a grown man and you do what you want. So it had to come to that before he went cold turkey, and I guess it was like a very wrenching kind of thing because your body is going through those withdrawals, and you're throwing up everything until you can't throw anything up anymore until you get rid of it.
A lot of folks go right to 1 Corinthians chapter 15 and acquire salvation. These folks, were into Hare Krishna and things like that. So they were doing a different path. But, there are a lot of folks, including myself, that do believe that the one true way is through the door. And the way through that door is through Jesus Christ. So, that's about all I got to say about that. I got to step away for a quick second. I got to grab our sound engineer, and I'll be right back.
All right. So, okay, right now I'm listen. Well, in January of this year in Aurora, my niece Brenda Cook was, and this is kind of way off the subject, was murdered, and they haven't found the bandito who did it. It was in Aurora in her apartment, and some people say, well, it must have been a family member. But I'm listening to the story now about this forensic person that they can get the DA and the DNA of the person, and they have found so many people. So I wish I could call this station up and say, hey, you guys, what about my niece? And I know they must have a bunch of unsolved cases where the person got away with it. So, yeah. So DNA is being able to do a lot of good things. So I hope if you have experienced something like this in your family, that they got they'll be able to find the DNA. And one guy they were discussing committed the murder back in 1985, and they finally found him, even though he changed his name. And they just found it like through a beer glass that he was drinking out of. They grabbed it, did the analysis, matched it with the DNA they found on her, and then they brought him the justice, and he's doing life in prison. Oh, man.
Folks, you can't say no to this face, can you? Look over here.
Yeah.
Over here.
Oh,
look over here.
Also, we lost eight subscribers. So tonight I'm going to spend some time just uploading our shows, because maybe they think like, well, oh, they're not doing any more shows.
That's right.
So I'm just going to go ahead and just upload a bunch of shows that we did in the past for this weekend, so people know that we're still here.
That's right.
And for whatever reason, I can't figure out why we're not connecting to the stations here.
Well, you
But,
can't say no to this face, can you, folks? I want you to buy some Krispy Kreme donuts because this little guy right here
yeah.
wants you
Mm.
to support Innervision FM. This
Mm.
guy, his name's Niklaus. I'm not going to have him
Yeah.
for very long. I got to get rid of him because
Yeah.
I'm actually going homeless.
Oh, no. No.
He's got a good home. And I'm going to be going to a different place here in a couple of weeks, but you can't say no to this little guy.
No.
So I need you to go ahead and
God.
help us out with a little Krispy Kreme action. You got a promo that you're starting tomorrow, aren't you?
Yes, it's going to be the Halloween promo where you get an extra, I think, a glazed donut with your dozen.
Well, he
And,
didn't sound too happy about that.
Yeah, and then you get an extra glaze. Yeah, so yeah, if you get with our promo there, and it's right in the link right there, several boxes, you get like an extra one, and you don't have to use, like I said, you don't have to use it right away. You can keep it until that special occasion, and we like to thank the people that have bought so far.
Absolutely.
And, we're gonna
absolutely.
speed it up here,
Absolutely.
And
Hey, Niklaus, they don't have bacon on them. What do you have to say about that? What do you have to say about that? Oh, he didn't have anything to say about it. I guess he didn't care. I was trying to get him to bark or growl or something on cue, but he won't do it.
oh man,
Yeah, he won't do it. He's a good boy. He's a good boy.
oh,
We try to
yeah.
have a lot of fun here in the Innervision FM universe. We want to thank you for joining us tonight. And leave a like, share, subscribe, toss a comment down below wherever you're watching us. And we love you guys. Yeah, I mean, we honestly want to help out the blind community. Some people say that our unemployment rate's only 70%. Others say it's 90. Bottom line is there's too many of us not working, and we want to try to help that out. And,
Oh yeah.
For anybody that makes music or anybody that wants to do the same kind of stuff that we're doing. I mean, they don't have to talk about all this weird stuff with Jorden or
Yeah.
Yoko Ono or whatever. They could talk about whatever they like.
Oh yeah.
But Niklaus would love it if you would help us out.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week. Have a fantastic weekend, and get some donuts. Get some donuts.
Yeah, get some donuts.
All right. Yeah, definitely. All right. See ya.